You know that feeling when you wake up already exhausted, even though you slept for 8 hours? When getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain, and the thought of doing simple tasks like answering emails or putting away dishes makes your whole body feel heavy. You tell yourself you're being lazy. You tell yourself other people manage just fine, so why can't you? But here's what nobody told you. That bone-deep tiredness you're carrying around isn't about willpower. It's not a character flaw. It's your nervous system running on fumes, and it's been doing that for longer than you probably realize. Most people think energy is about sleep and coffee. Get enough rest, drink some caffeine, and you should be good to go, right? But if you've ever felt completely drained after doing absolutely nothing, or found yourself unable to start a task even though you desperately want to finish it, you already know it's not that simple. What you're experiencing is something completely different. Your nervous system has been in survival mode for so long that it doesn't remember what regulated energy actually feels like. Here's the thing about how your brain is supposed to work. It's designed to have natural rhythms of energy and rest, activity and recovery. Think of it like breathing. You breathe in, you breathe out. You don't have to force it or think about it. Your body just knows. Energy is supposed to work the same way. You're supposed to feel alert when you need to focus, calm when you need to think, and tired when it's time to rest. But somewhere along the way, that natural rhythm got completely disrupted. And if you've been living with ADHD or any form of neurodivergence, especially undiagnosed, your rhythm has probably been off for your entire life. If you're watching this and recognizing yourself in these words, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You're not alone in this, and understanding what's really happening inside your brain might be the most important thing you learn this year. Drop a like if this is already hitting close to home. What actually happens is this. Your brain runs on neurotransmitters, chemical messengers that help you feel motivated, focused, and energized. The big one everyone talks about is dopamine. You've probably heard of it. It's the chemical that makes you feel rewarded, that gives you that little spark of motivation to do things. In a neurotypical brain, dopamine flows pretty consistently throughout the day. It shows up when you need it. It helps you start tasks, stay focused, and feel satisfied when you finish something. But in an ADHD brain, or in many neurodivergent brains, dopamine doesn't work like that. It's inconsistent. It's unpredictable. Sometimes it floods your system, and you feel like you can conquer the world. Sometimes it disappears completely, and you can't even convince yourself to brush your teeth. And here's where it gets really exhausting. When your brain isn't getting enough dopamine naturally, it starts searching for it desperately. It craves stimulation. It needs something, anything, to generate that chemical reward. So you find yourself scrolling through your phone for 2 hours even though you're bored. You start 5 different projects and finish none of them. You buy things you don't need. You stay up until 3 in the morning because nighttime is the only time your brain feels awake. You're not lazy. You're not undisciplined. Your brain is literally hunting for the neurochemical fuel it needs to function, and it's doing it in the only ways it knows how. But society doesn't see it that way. Society sees someone who can't get started on important tasks. Someone who seems to have energy for fun things, but not for responsibilities. Someone who appears capable one day and completely non-functional the next. And because nobody can see what's happening inside your nervous system, they assume you're just not trying hard enough. And tragically, you start to believe them. So you push. You force yourself. You use willpower like a hammer, trying to smash through the invisible wall between you and the task you need to do. And sometimes, miraculously, it works. You get a burst of adrenaline, usually because a deadline is screaming at you, and suddenly you have energy. You pull an all-nighter. You finish the project. You clean the entire apartment in a frenzied 4-hour sprint. You feel productive. You feel capable. You think, see, I can do it when I really try. But here's what you don't realize in that moment. That energy wasn't real. It wasn't sustainable energy coming from a well-rested, well-regulated nervous system. It was stress hormones. It was your body's emergency system kicking in because it perceived a threat. You were running on adrenaline and cortisol, the same chemicals that would flood your system if you were running from a bear. And just like you can't run from a bear every single day, you can't run on stress hormones every single day. But you've been trying to, for years, maybe for your whole life. This is why you crash so hard after periods of productivity. This is why you can work intensely for 3 days and then need 2 weeks to recover. This is why you feel exhausted even when you haven't done anything. Your nervous system has been in fight or flight mode, and it's depleted. Imagine revving a car engine constantly without ever letting it cool down. Eventually, something breaks. That's what's happening to you. That low energy you feel isn't laziness. It's your body desperately trying to protect itself from burnout. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like in daily life. You wake up with good intentions. Today's the day you're going to be productive. You're going to tackle that list. You sit down at your desk and open your laptop, and then nothing happens. Your brain feels like it's moving through mud. You stare at the screen. You know what you need to do. You want to do it. But there's this gap, this invisible canyon between intention and action, and you cannot figure out how to cross it. So you tell yourself you'll just check your phone for a minute. Just a quick break to get your brain going. 2 hours later, you're still scrolling, feeling worse than before, and now you're also drowning in shame because you've wasted half the day. Or maybe it looks like this. You're at work and you're supposed to be focused, but your brain is somewhere else entirely. You read the same email 4 times and still don't know what it says. You're not distracted by anything in particular. You're just not there. And the effort it takes to force your attention back feels enormous, like trying to hold water in your hands. By the afternoon, you're so mentally exhausted that you can barely speak in complete sentences, even though all you did was sit at a desk. Or maybe it's the weekend. You finally have free time. You could do all those things you've been putting off. But instead you're lying on the couch, unable to move, unable to choose what to watch, unable to enjoy the rest because you're drowning in guilt about not being productive. You feel paralyzed. You feel stuck. And underneath it all is this constant whisper that you're broken, that something is fundamentally wrong with you, that everyone else figured out how to be a functioning adult and somehow you missed that day of class. None of that is laziness. All of that is dysregulation. Your nervous system is out of balance. It doesn't know how to find the middle ground between complete exhaustion and frantic hyperactivity. It's either off or it's in overdrive. There's no cruise control. There's no steady, sustainable energy. And when you've lived like this for years, your body adapts in ways that make everything harder. Your baseline stress level becomes elevated. Your body is so used to running on adrenaline that it starts to depend on it. You can't function without pressure. You can't start tasks until they're urgent. You procrastinate not because you're careless, but because your brain literally cannot generate enough activation energy without the stress of a looming deadline. This is called adrenaline dependency, and it's incredibly common in people with ADHD and other forms of neurodivergence. You're essentially addicted to your own stress hormones because they're the only thing that makes your brain work. But adrenaline is a terrible long-term fuel source. It's meant for emergencies, not for daily functioning. And the more you rely on it, the more exhausted you become. Your adrenal glands get fatigued. Your cortisol levels become dysregulated. You start having trouble sleeping, even though you're always tired. You might notice your digestion is a mess. You might get sick more often. You might feel anxious for no clear reason. All of this is your body trying to tell you that the way you've been surviving is not sustainable. And here's the really cruel part. When you try to rest, actually rest, your nervous system doesn't know how. It's been in fight or flight for so long that it interprets rest as danger. When you slow down, all the anxiety you've been outrunning catches up with you. So rest doesn't feel restorative. It feels uncomfortable. It feels wrong. You feel guilty. You feel like you should be doing something. So you get back up and push yourself again, and the cycle continues. Understanding this changes everything. Because once you realize that your low energy is a nervous system issue, not a personality flaw, you can actually start to address it. You can stop trying to force yourself through sheer willpower and start working with your biology instead of against it. You can start recognizing when you're running on stress hormones versus actual energy. You can start building in real recovery time instead of just collapsing when your body finally gives out. This might mean completely rethinking how you approach productivity. It might mean accepting that your brain needs different conditions to function than other people's brains do. It might mean letting go of the idea that you should be able to do things the same way everyone else does them. And yes, that's hard. That requires grieving the version of yourself you thought you should be. But on the other side of that grief is something incredibly valuable: the ability to actually work with your brain instead of constantly fighting it. Your low energy isn't a moral failing. It's not evidence that you're weak or broken or less than. It's a sign that your nervous system has been doing the best it can with what it has, and it's tired. It's been compensating for years, probably decades, and it needs support. It needs understanding. It needs rest that actually restores instead of rest that just feels like wasted time. It needs you to stop blaming yourself for something that was never your fault in the first place. You deserve to live in a body that feels safe enough to rest. You deserve to have energy that doesn't come from panic and adrenaline. You deserve to understand that the exhaustion you've been carrying isn't because you're doing life wrong. It's because your brain has been working 3 times as hard as everyone else's just to keep up, and nobody ever acknowledged how much effort that takes. So if you take nothing else from this, take this. You're not lazy. You never were. You've been running a marathon on a sprained ankle, and it's time to finally stop and let it heal.